Everybody settle down. We're doing like a simulcast, so I'll wait till you give me the go ahead. We do testing? Test? Oh, you can hear some stuff.
It sounds really like robot.
Robot-y? It's probably because it's so close to my esophagus. Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's a little slow now.
Yeah. That's so weird. Oh, well, it sounds like deeper.
Well, it's partially the match. It's not totally.
Yeah.
So
Oh. I didn't think I could speak in only left channel. It's kind of cool. Hi, he snuck in. I was like, oh, hey, there's another one. Domo Origato Mono. Cool. If you hear my voice, we're working it out. Yeah. Yeah.
as far as being pitched down, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's weird.
Absolutely no idea.
It's not like a setting you can do in OBS, right? Or and it didn't sound like that before, maybe, or do we not know? Maybe.
I don't think so. Yes.
Yeah, that's weird.
Anyway, we are streaming, so
Okay.
feel free to. You'll just have to be a lower voice.
Okay. So here's the smooth, sexy jazz voice from Wesley at the Central Ohio Game Dev Group. I hope you enjoy your Saturday on this September 27th, just here in a cool Columbus day. August, whichever. I'm thinking ahead. So I hope you enjoy this simulcast news tune. We're laughing back here. If this is picking up, I hope you're having a good time. We're doing something new, which is interesting because we had everything kind of pretty much set up, and then I'm just a low voice today. If you hear me on the stream, that's just how it is. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm kind of trying to figure out which way to go. I think I'm going to be looking here today. So thanks for everybody being able to make it out today. This is the Central Ohio Game Dev Group, September 20 or August 27th. Like, I'm thinking ahead all the time. And this is our presentation and updates time. So we've had this group for a long time. We've had this event for a long time. And so we're happy that everybody can kind of make these. It's a great way month to month to see what's going on around the local area. So I'm actually here today with some people who've been here before, obviously, but also some folks who've been helping us out for a long time. So again, my name is Wesley Adams. My background is in animation and 3D modeling. I also do e-learning by day and game design, on the side. I'm also here with Caleb. He's also a COG member, so if you have questions, definitely check out with him. He's worked with the local game studio, Digimancy, and game design, and is a very cool tech whiz, as a lot of you guys are. We got Tony over here. He's also helping out with COG. He's, obviously, he's a hat full of tricks. He's got all kinds of design mechanics. He's a programmer, an artist, an animator, really great person to talk to, so definitely chat with him. He's also new to our COG admin group. Scott's always been helpful to us from time to time, so definitely if you have questions about things, he's happy to kind of share his thoughts. And then Tom, who also has been helping us today let people in, is downstairs. He'll be up here in just a couple of minutes. And yeah, we just have a really great group of people that just kind of want to help people get into the game industry, just talk with folks and kind of showcase some things today. So yeah. I think without further ado, I just kind of want to talk a little bit about our group, our location, where we're at, and how we doing. So let me move on to a couple of things. So we are a collection of game developers who want to help each other make games. So we collaborate with a lot of different central organizations like CCAD, OSU, Columbus State. So if you're interested in those things, we can definitely connect you with folks. So definitely let us know if you want to get connected with students, if you want to get connected to other groups. We also are connected with the Cincinnati GameDev group, which is also a IGDA, or was it International Game Developer Association group chapter here in Ohio. So I can get connected with Brandon there. And there's also the folks in Cleveland who are a game dev group, another big organization, about the same size of ours, and they're a great group too. So if you're looking for anything, if you want to connect with folks, we're definitely here to help, but we can outreach to other resources as well. So I wanted to note some of the events coming up in September. We definitely have our prototype in play. As you've noticed, we've been meeting back in person. We're still meeting back in person until things decide not to. I mean, if there's a couple things that occur, we'll let you guys know as soon as possible. There are things coming up at the end of the year, obviously, like in terms of holidays, so things can kind of get mixed around a bit. We'll keep you posted on those. One I will say is that the GameDev Meetup is not going to be next month because that's my wedding and most of us are going to be there anyway. So we won't be able to do that. But I hope that you guys will be able to get, take the day off and have a good time, like in the nice weather that is September coming up in fall. So, but outside of that, we will continue our prototype play, which is our you bring your games, we bring the food, usually pizza and drinks, and we set up here would probably be in this room as well. And anything that you want to showcase, right? Just let us know ahead of time. We'll try to prep you for that. If you get something crazy like VR or something like that, let us know ahead of time so we can set up for that. But you can do board games, card games, digital games, VR games, a game that you just came up with the top of your head. And if you want to like post that and let people kind of see what's going on, it's a great time to showcase it on September 9th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. because that is actually the same time as Franklinton Fridays, which is kind of like the area's way of kind of getting to know each other's work around this area. So you'll get gamers as well as developers, as well as parents and kids coming in from all over the local area, just kind of seeing what's going on. And they'll come up here and maybe be interested in playing your game and giving your feedback. So definitely it's a great way if you got something in progress or if you got something finished and you want people to give feedback, definitely check that out. That should actually be up in the meetup page. And then the Let's Play series that Caleb helps to host, we did one with Duke this month, yeah, and had a really great time showcasing his game he's been working on for Prepare for Warp, which if you didn't know, was actually released this week. So congratulations on that. Definitely check it out. He's got a really great updates on which platform for Steam. Okay, so we've got it up on Steam. So if you're interested in that, you can definitely check our Discord for information. He's always posting stuff there all the time. We're always retweeting stuff and all that good stuff too. So and then down there's our resources, but I kind of wanted to showcase some of these. Here, hold on. Boop. I might have to escape. Okay. So if you go to thecogg.com, our website, it's got all our resources there. Those same links that I showed you in the PowerPoint slide is also there in our social media at the top right. If you want to join our Discord, that is the easiest way to kind of contact us like live in person. And we're usually looking at that all the time. A lot of you are there actually helping each other, posting information, asking questions, posting up game development opportunities, requesting game development opportunities. There's all kinds of different channels there, so definitely check that out because there's a lot of really good resources. It's all under our Discord community category, so you can like assign your role if you want to like be a technical person, designer person, creative person, kind of lets people know who you are. There's the Dev Help channel, which a lot of you actually been posting stuff there, just asking questions about certain things. There's information about like art, sound, design. If you want to share your game, you can do that. You can share your game in progress under the Screenshot Saturdays, which doesn't have to be a Saturday, it can be any time. There's job and collaboration, like I mentioned before. You can add, there's actually jobs here today if you want to apply for them or talk to people about them. Great opportunity there. Shameless plugs is a great way if you're like streaming something and you want to showcase that, let us know. and also like little miscellaneous stuff like random channels and what have you. So definitely check that out. It's a great way to get connected with our group. And we used a lot of them, have grown a lot. We're up to like 500 members now. So it's getting to be a pretty big group and a really exciting way to kind of like talk to other people. The other new thing I've kind of been mentioning a lot of is that we've got our COG Games site. If you're interested in sharing your game-related content, I know, John, you were even saying like maybe showcasing your streaming channel and how you review games, like retro games, that's fine. We're just basically collecting a lot of different kind of game opportunities that you want to showcase. We've done Kickstarters, we've done game releases, we've done games in progress, we've done itch.io game jams, like whatever you want to do, let us know. You know, we ask that it be family friendly as much as possible. Like we usually say, like if your grandma or grandpa wouldn't approve, probably don't post that. Just because we want to be an open, public, family-friendly event. But for the most part, we're happy to kind of post what we, whatever you'd like to. So we've got a lot of different games up here that we kind of showcase. Right now, we're just stacking them to the top. First come, first serve, and then as things want to get promoted, we kind of like move things around. Eventually, they'll be put into categories as they kind of need to. Yeah. Sure. Yep, and that's what we're going to do eventually once we get enough of them. We don't have quite enough yet for that to warrant that need, because I mean literally I had to scroll down and we're at the end. So once we get, I don't know, maybe about 50 of them, we'll start to put them into categories, and yeah, and then we're always asking for feedback. Once you get that, we basically have you select here, or on this first card, you can select the Add My Game, and it goes to a Google Form account. All you need to do is fill this out. It goes to us in a response, and we basically contact you and say, hey, I basically kind of look at them once a week, once or twice a week or whatever, and I said, hey, cool, we got your game, we put the card up, does this look okay? Do you want any changes? And I'm happy to change those on the fly. They take no time. So just let us know, and then in the future, if you like, hey, I'm updating my game to this link, just let us know, we'll do it. Or you can fill out another form and we can update it that way too. So however you want to do it, it's pretty simple and easy. And this is a way for us to advertise your game as well as kind of get your information out there. If we're going to like an expo or something like that, it's a great way to kind of say, hey, here's our games that our community is making. So the more we have of this, the better. It just helps us like help you guys. So definitely check that out. We'll back here. So that's our resources. And again, we kind of talked about this. We've got a pretty big group of people that you can contact for resources. Again, we're meeting in person until we aren't. We're slowly checking the different health organizations and kind of seeing how those are going. The good news is it seems like it's actually working out pretty well. There's a lot of really good headway on that, so that's good. But if things do, not turn out well, we'll let you know, and we'll kind of keep things going. No matter what the case, we'll always be online with these events as much as possible, as well as doing in person as much as possible as well, because we know that we have quite a big group going both different ways. So, which questions? Oh, I don't. Were there questions? Oh, his questions. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yep. So we're working on doing a simulcast for this event if we can. What it might turn out to be is that we might start doing online events specifically and continuing with these in-person events. So there's always the prototype and play in-person event. We also might have a online prototype and play event as well. So keep on the lookout that. A lot of that will be on our Facebook page, as well as our Discord, as well as our Meetup. So we'll try to put up on all our social media. So keep in touch with that, and then we appreciate your patience as we start to work to kind of get these two groups together, because it is a bit of a learning curve, I'll be honest. So we appreciate your patience. But yeah, so good news there. And then we'll talk about today. So I'll quit blabbering my mouth. So I have basically done with the announcements today. We also will open up the floor if you guys have something you want to showcase, or if you have an announcement of an event coming up, or just an announcement that's game related in general, let us know. This is your platform to showcase things. And this could even be, for those of you who are online, if you have questions or comments, so maybe Caleb can see that, or whoever's like looking, if they have questions in the chat channel, we're happy to answer those, or if they have something they want to post, let us know. But outside of that, we also have Duke today who's going to come in, and he's got some really cool presentations to talk about in like Lua scripts. So we'll check the board in the room. Does anybody today have anything they want to showcase or any events that you want to talk about before we get into the main event today?
The only thing I have to mention is tomorrow the CTS Retro Gaming and Toy Fair will be on over at the Lashley Building at OSU.
Oh, okay.
Not OSU, New Hampshire Fairgrounds.
That's called
CTS. Yeah.
Oh, CTS is tomorrow at where?
The Lashley Building.
The Lashley Building, and that's for the Games and Toys Expo?
Games and Toys Expo, yeah.
Okay.
Retro gaming and also like toys from like the 60s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be cool. So if you like retro games and you like toys, definitely check that out. So we'll try to get a post to that. If you happen to know it, you can post on Facebook or whatever. We'd love to get that out. Do you know what time that is?
I believe it starts, I think early birds is like 8 o'clock.
7 a.m.?
Let's say 8 o'clock, just before.
Okay, so probably around 8 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds like fun. So if you got nothing going on tomorrow, that'd be kind of a fun thing to do. So, okay, cool.
And of course, Torg is around November.
Yep, Torg's coming up November, so definitely check that out. That's another gaming convention. Is that at do you know where that one's at?
That one will be in Lewis Center.
Lewis Center, okay. Yeah,
It was there last year too.
okay. So definitely check that out. So there's Torg's coming up in November, Lewis Center, so definitely check that out. Yeah, any other announcements?
There's also one place out in, that's a 2-day event in Pittsburgh if you don't mind the drive.
Which is that?
Hold on.
Is that the,
Let me get my Facebook down on my phone.
I'm gonna say, is that Replay Effects?
Give me
Oh, while he's doing that, did anybody go to MatsuryCon? So, well, I was gonna say, I don't know if, so if you did or didn't know, we actually did something called called a side quest, which is GDEX kind of hosted event where we, get people to that are interested in showcasing the game, just like they did at GDEX, which is another game expo we did during the summer, and just kind of had a side room to kind of do some fun stuff. So we'll do some posting. There were some images that we had sharing around, but yeah, that's something that we do with MatsuryCon. So if you missed it this year, definitely check it out next year. We love working with them. It's a great way for us to showcase games. They're at the Anime Expo, MatsuryCon. It's at the Convention Center, right? So lots of fun. So if you want to do that next year, just let us know. Be aware that it'll just happen around like this month, so August. Yeah.
Pittsburgh Gaming Expo.
Pittsburgh Gaming Expo.
Monroeville Convention Center.
Monroeville Convention Center, and that's coming up when?
October 1st at 10 a.m. and it'll last till October 2nd at 5.
Okay, so October 1st through the 2nd. Okay, cool. Yeah, that'd be fun. So if that's like a 3-hour drive. So yeah, if you're interested, Pittsburgh, that'd be kind of fun. So it's another event. Cool. Any other announcements? Any questions from the chat? If anybody's on, I'm not sure. No questions? Okay. Cool. I might be on. Okay, I was gonna say I might be on. But this will be good. So if you guys, because we'll have this recorded. If you guys want to see this later, we'll have it up, obviously, with everybody's permission that's interested. Just know we'll have this live, and if you guys are, want it edited or whatever, just let us know. We'll make sure that's there. But we'll have it up at least for the presentation, and then we'll stop the stream when we're done, and then you guys can socialize afterwards. Which leads me to my last thing, is when we do network afterwards, my question will be, what is what is the first game you played as a kid? So if you have something as an icebreaker, you want to talk to folks, you can say what the first game you played as a kid and see what the response is, but I'm sure they'll have a confused face. So maybe not phrase it that way. But there, yeah.
I've got a different way to phrase the question. What was the first game you picked as a kid?
What was the first game you picked as a kid?
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
So the first game that your parents bought you that you got to choose.
Yeah. So the first games that you chose as a kid. Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, let us know in the chat. Let us know afterwards when we're done with the presentation. But I think without further ado, I'll invite Duke up. We're gonna do a little bit of a cha-cha slide to get things rearranged, but just hold tight for a minute and we'll be back. Okay, we're gonna mute me.
Hello, I'm here to talk to you today about integrating Lua with Unity. The basics of it are very simple. Hang on, forgot a couple things down the road there. So this is actually very simple. First of all, does anyone know why we would want to integrate Lua, why we would want to use Lua for our modding system and integrate it with our Unity application? Yeah, to some degree it is, yes. Anyone else? Well, the three big reasons I can think of why you would want to integrate Lua would be, one, it's familiar to mod authors. There's a lot of games out there already that support Lua as their modding programming language. And so it's going to be very familiar to when you go out there and you put your game out there and they go to mod it. And oh, this is Lua. This is simple. Another reason is the runtime is pretty fast and lightweight, so it's not going to really weigh your game down, especially if you do it right. And also, some of the built-in language features make it a good fit and support some critical use cases, like the ability to do coroutines, where you can kind of suspend your Lua script to go back to main processing of the game. We'll see a little later why that's important. So for Lua, kind of the best thing that I've found out there for the Unity ecosystem is Moonsharp. And it's a C# package. It's not specific to Unity. And I see for some reason it's not showing up here, but it is in the project though. As you can somewhere. Hey, we'll go out to our site here, but yeah, it's written entirely in C#, so it just kind of sits in your project as C# classes. They've got an asset on the Unity Asset Store, which is what I was trying to show you through Unity. But the asset, it is a couple of years old. It doesn't seem to be very active development, but I have not found very many problems with it. So yeah, it kind of supports Unity as a first-class citizen. And I don't know why it's not bringing it up for me, but oh well. Moving on. Get out of here. So yeah, it's just a handy asset out there to have. You apply it and download it, and then here's how simple it is to set up. All you really need to do is just give it some text to run as a Lua script. That's the simplest possible use case. So I've got this hooked up to a button out here where it's just taking some text that's input on the screen and just running it as a Lua script, catching any exceptions, printing them out, and yeah, and then you can see here, taking the, I'm setting up some options to set out, where anytime you do a print statement in Lua, it's going to go ahead and just put that in another text box on the screen, so you can see the output. So we'll just give this a quick run here, at least as quick will Unity will allow me to be. And you see here I've got a script up here, can run it, and you can see the output down here. Run it again, You can make it more complicated. We'll do a little bit of Pythagorean math here. And if you it'll just say, tell you whatever errors you have, what line number, column number, and everything. So it's really good like that. Of course, as with any programming language, sometimes the errors you get don't make much sense. So yeah, that's the simplest, like I said, simplest possible use case. And this is actually like a good basis for something like bringing in giving a console to be able to just type Lua code in at runtime. Probably something you'll want to have in your application if you support Lua, and it keeps you from having to implement a whole nother console system. So of course, right now this doesn't do anything particularly useful as far as integrating with a game or anything like that. So for that, we'll move over to a more complex example using the actual DHorder 2 game code. So I've set up a scripting engine object here, and what this does is this is going to it's going to load scripts for us. That's what it's going to do. It's going to load up the text for the script. It's going to set it up through Moonsharp, and it's going to give us back an object that we can use to manage that script. So we'll do a little more complex setup here so that we can actually get into some objects. Get into accessing some objects in our Lua code. So you see here, I'm actually creating a script object. And that is a Lua script object. And you see I'm also giving it some instructions as to what it's going to allow. And this is important for like not introducing big security holes in your application. You don't want to release a game where somebody can release a malicious mod for it that overwrites takes over their system, steals all their credit card numbers and all like that. So it's kind of important that you set up your sandboxing, limit what types the Lua scripts have access to. And then we'll get into the script loader a little later. Essentially, that's kind of how you bring these scripts in. And again, that's kind of a security thing where instead of just letting scripts be loaded directly from the file system or anything, you have to provide a script loader that gives the rules. And then we saw this before, redirecting the printout. Right now for me, this is just redirecting to the Unity console. And then we get into where we're starting to set up. We're back up a little bit to this, to where we're setting up the scripting engine. You'll see that I have this. I'm providing a list of scriptable types, is what this is, and I'm telling Moonsharp here through this call, make this type available for the script to be able to use. By default, out of the box, it will only recognize the C# types that you tell it to recognize, and some basic inbuilt data types like your integers and floats and strings and stuff like that. But anything CLR related, it's not going to let you access unless you register it. So that's what kind of the pre-setup you do. Unfortunately, it's kind of a global, so you can't have different setups for different script contexts, but usually that's going to be okay. So then, that's half the equation for getting your objects into Lua. The second half is through this script.globals. And what this does is this returns a Lua table, which is just essentially a dictionary or hash table or whatnot of name value pairs that Lua uses to kind of mount things up for you to be able to access. So again, going through, I've got I've got the globals I want to always have available, and then I have context-specific globals in my case. But again, I'm just running through, and this is just providing these values for me. And when I say globals, global.key, global.value, what that's going to do is that's going to make it so that the Lua scripts can access whatever you put in there using whatever name this key is. So the way that kind of looks, you see here, this database object right here, that's a global. This junk template function right here, that is also a global that has been registered. Let me go ahead and so yeah, you see here, you can start. Once you've registered a couple of things, you can go ahead and start to actually call stuff, do some things interesting. This is the first use case I had for Lua, allowing mods to be able to build up the game database. So you see here all of the assets for the game, like all the like scriptable objects and whatnot, which are not really scriptable objects in my case, but they're created through Lua scripts in this case. You see I've got actually dozens of these Lua scripts out here for all the different entities in the game. And let me see if I can find real quick. That's not the right one. That's my database builder. I think it's under. Yes. So here's my scriptable types provider. This is something specifically to me. This isn't specific to Moonsharp. But you see, I'm telling it all the different types they can use in the script. And then down here, again, yeah, we're setting up all globals, all the different globals that can be used from Lua. So this is kind of like the library of functions and objects and everything that becomes available within this scripting context. And going back to the scripting engine, so you see I'm going through and telling it to go ahead and load the script of the name that I gave it. And at that point, it's going to use this script, this script loader that I have to find out here to go ahead and look up the script, and it will compile it. And when I put it into a Moonshot script, it will go ahead and compile it and everything. It'll give it an interpreter exception at that point if if there's something wrong with the syntax, and then to actually run it. Yeah, you see, I set up I get like an entry point in the script, and this essentially is an entry point to the function that encompasses the whole file. So now I pass that into my my script object, and then this script object, when you tell it to run, it's just going to call that entry point, just like we called that text we put on the screen before. So, and eventually, you'll have enough Lua scripts defined and everything that you'll have enough objects in there that you'll have a small scripting empire like you saw that I kind of had going on. Kind of getting a little bit more into that script loader. They do provide one out of the box for Unity, but it doesn't do anything useful that you would really want it to do. All it really does is it loads from the it loads from the resources folder, and usually these days we're going to be using we're going to be using the okay, this is my asset resolver, not this is my asset resolver, not my script resolver, sorry. There we go. So yeah, usually you're going to want to load from like some asset bundle or something like that. So that's what this is doing. Like I showed you this asset resolver type. That's my actual piece that I've got a generic asset resolver that can load any asset type in Unity, be it a string from a text asset or a texture or anything like that. So I kind of pass that in here, and it's just got a couple functions you need to provide, and again, these are just kind of passed through to my to my string module asset resolver here. That's actually going to load from my modules, which eventually it gets to loading from an asset bundle, the actual script to load. And then I mentioned coroutines before. Those are great for when you have a flow, like something like a story event where it has to be able to delay for a specific amount of time or something like that. And we can see that out here. This is one of my typical story event scripts. Again, this is written in Lua, and yeah, I've just got these globals set up that are basically all the methods of the game service. So essentially, the script has access to pretty much anything the game can do, with a couple special cases. One of them being this wait case right here, where that does the magic with the coroutine. Where essentially when you tell it to yield in Lua, it's going to return you a value, and you can test to see if that value is something like a wait or something like that, and then tell it to actually wait an amount of time before resuming execution. So if I go out here, I want the context object. So if you look here, my implementation for that wait out here is I kind of give it a Lua script to execute and bind that to the global wait because the yielding can only be done from within Lua itself. You can't yield, like if it calls your C# code, you can't then yield the C# code and have that yield go through Lua and then back to the C# code that called it. So this is the magic that does the coroutine yield. And you see I'm returning a wait yield instruction, with the interval that I gave it in my script out here. So it's kind of an important technique to have. So yeah, I didn't want to get like too terribly deep in this. I just kind of wanted to give an overview of what it's going to look like if you set up Lua it's within your game. Hopefully I've done a good, a decent job of that. One of the best ways to make sure that your modding system is solid is to do what I call dog fooding, which is where you're going to, you need to use it yourself. Like define your game, like I said, all my entire game database is defined through these Lua scripts. All of my story events are defined through these Lua scripts. I'm not doing anything cheating and having half my stuff in C# and half my stuff in Unity for that. And kind of where you want to put the dividing line for that is you want to put your higher level content, like your higher level content driven game logic kind of in your Lua layer, and your fundamental game rules that you don't want the scripts to violate. Those are the bits that you want to have in the C# scripts. So, any questions?
Yeah, so is this something you tag on to a game that's already been working on for a few years, or is this like something you're supposed to build from the ground up with?
Well, it kind of works if you can design it from the ground up, or at least have in mind when you start designing your game that you're going to mod it, because that's going to make you make some architectural decisions with your code to better support that. But this, I already had kind of a Bobo scripting system in place using XML. So it was not hard for me to take and integrate it into this, an existing project in this case. But if you're not already well factored, if your code's not already well factored for that, then yeah, it's going to be a little more work to integrate this into an existing game. Any other questions?
Do you look at mods that are on the market for other games to see what things modders do? To think about, okay, I need to design my game this way in case somebody wants to do this thing that somebody did in Skyrim, for example.
Yes, actually. Oh, sorry. The question was, is there any mods that I looked at out there that kind of influenced my design of the system? Is that close? Okay. And the answer is yes, and especially different modding systems. I kind of had in mind the old WoW, the modding system for World of Warcraft, because I had been into that back a few years ago. Kind of writing my own mods for my own consumption and everything. Factorio was another one. I looked at their modding system to some degree.
Minecraft has a mod for Lua. Yeah, it's like a box that you can like script Lua in. It's like kind of everywhere.
And Arc would have been another one. So those were kind of the main influences there.
So I have a question. I saw that you're yielding, like coroutine. Is there like time that is maybe added to using this mod to compile the game when it's ready, or is it mostly seamless once you got it integrated? Like, does it take more time for it to
As far as like build time, yeah, it doesn't take any more time. Of course, compiling Lua script at runtime does have some performance penalty at runtime. So it's kind of thing where you're going to want to make sure you load your scripts once and compile them and reuse them if possible. Yes. So the question is, did I run into like any hangups, anything that I wanted to do with this that I really could not? I cannot really think of anything. There were a couple things that were tricky to set up. One of them is if I wanted a global function to have overloads. That was a little tricky to set up manually, but I did manage to do it. Yes.
The loose scripts that you're building for your main game, like part of your main game, are those exposed to the players so they can like see your actual loose scripts?
One of the things I'm toying with is, kind of publicly releasing some or all of my Lua scripts. So I'll have to see what the feasibility is of that. But yeah, definitely that would be like the best example for them to go off of, is to just be able to dig into the game's implementation and see what what the author has done.
So that's close to the player they download the game.
No, like it'll be seamless to them. Like as a player, if you're not like modding the game, this would be like completely seamless and under the covers. Any other questions? Well, yeah, right now I've only got like a chapter and a half of content defined. So yeah, I think there's definitely still a lot more C# code. There's also things that I plan to move out of the C# at this point now that this facility is available to me. So I'd probably have to say 70-30 right now, C# to Lua. I mean, not terribly difficult. Lua has the syntax I describe as somewhere halfway between C-like and BASIC-like. Where you have you have curly braces for your functions, but then your if statements will have a then and an end to them, and your operator is like the word and such like that, rather than the double ampersand symbol. So it's kind of a crossbreed between those, but yeah, it's certainly not difficult for anyone who knows a programming language or two to pick up. Yeah, I've been really pleased, and yeah, like one of the big keys to having this be successful is having a good layer of separation, between the Lua code and the C# code. Just have a well-defined interface have everything behind proxy objects, um, so that so that it's like nice and clean, and you're not exposing bits to the Lua code that you're not supposed to, and that'll kind of result in one of the, like, I won't say the most efficient, but one of the more efficient designs going forward for you, where it's like easier to maintain and such like that, is if you keep that clean separation.
Was the purpose of using Lua mainly for modding, or you already had something done before that you were migrating?
Yes, it was dual purpose. It was to support the modding. Of course, that was one of the primary purposes. And the second was to just increase the flexibility of the systems that I had. I mentioned I had a story event scripting system that was XML based, but it was just very inflexible. You couldn't evaluate any expressions in it or anything like that. Flow control was very painful and all like that. And all those concerns, if you have a proper scripting language like Lua, a lot of those concerns just fall away.
So I'm just wondering how much would it have been less effort to just continue sieging the C# than having to migrate that over?
It was definitely reaching a point where it was more effort with the system that I had than it was going to be to convert over and continue.
Was the order the first order mostly C#?
Yeah, that was 100% C#, and that one was written in 48 hours. So that's there's no modding or anything to that. That was a game jam entry. So.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you worked more on it. Was it just you made the game and polished it up? Okay. Yeah. For those of you that may or may not know, Duke's working on the Order 2, which is like a full-fledged new game, new systems. That's why we're seeing new mechanics and designs being created. But if you haven't had a chance to, do a lot of news updates and stuff on that on his website, so definitely check that out for something. Yeah, wish listed on Steam.
Yes, please wish us the game on Steam. I'm kind of judging interest in the game at this point, and seeing where it goes from there.
If you could, for people that haven't heard of the order, can you do a little synopsis of what the
Sure. I can do probably better than that even.
Oh, cool. There you go.
The Hoarder 2 is a game where you play the role of a hoarder who has to kind of clean up his act before the building inspector comes, finds him into oblivion, and forecloses on the family home. And this may have been a mistake. We'll see how long this actually takes to bootstrap itself.
While it's loading, I did have another question. Do you write your Lua script in Notepad? Is it like you use that?
I usually just use Visual Studio. Yeah. It's a little slow on here because it's not on an SSD, the project, so. Actually, it's already done compiling all the Lua code. At this point, it is loading the game, like the save game that it displays during the title screen. Yeah.
So beautiful. How to get on the roof? That's the new trade GP. Yeah.
I don't know if hopefully this save works. No, those backgrounds, that background was not me. That was Isabel Brown. Ooh, that was very boomy. uh, so yeah, you wake up after like a little earthquake, trapped in your room. Kind of explains why everything's a mess. And the first thing you need to do is clean up enough stuff to be able to find your phone. And on the laptop, in the editor, the lag is very real. So yeah, in addition to like cleaning up the junk, got other things adding to it too. Things a lot of you have probably seen out there if you've been paying attention to my videos and stuff this week is the new cooking mechanic. You just clear off this stove here. Oh man. Well, that was kind of fail. It looks like our food did not spawn, so I will not be able to show off the cooking mechanic at this moment. Yeah, you like to be able to, but there should be a whole pile of food here. I'll have to look into why that's only spawning sometimes. I did see that not spawn once before, so. Huh? Oh, it never disappeared. Yes. Right.
That's like just it 5 years ago. Yeah. Just a giant stack of newspapers and magazines.
Can you tell me if that Mexican hat's from your other breakout game?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I knew it.
And you might recognize the ducks too.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm a big believer in asset reuse. I was just telling Liam earlier today, I was working on the new mechanic for getting rid of the vermin because I was unhappy with what I had there before. And I discovered I could use the mailbox model that he provided for me also as like a rat and mouse trap. Yeah, yeah. All right, well. You're welcome.
Okay. Hello, testing, testing. I'll just plug this one back in. Oh, where did I put my mouse? Ah, there we go. We are switching. So pardon the switch. All right, cool. All right, I think that wraps up for today unless somebody else wants to do a presentation. I had a, yeah.
I recently finished a game jam,
Yeah,
so I could draw it up a little bit.
sure, if you want. That's this time. Yep. Just kind of organically do this. Yeah, so.
Is that right if I just download on your computer?
Yeah, that's fine. It is yours. But yeah, just talk a little bit about, oh, you want a mic, right?
I guess so.
Just for the live stream. Is that okay if we record you, I guess?
Yeah, that is fine.
Okay.
Right. Testing?
Yeah.
Test. Okay.
I'd say just talk a little bit about yourself, what the
Okay.
game jam is, what you do,
Yep.
and yeah.
Okay, cool. Is that? I don't know if you. Sorry.
Oh, you can click the button there to slow it down.
Yeah, no, that's where I want it. Okay, good.
Okay, all right. Yep. Actually, I'll start downloading it on here, but the. Oh, is that? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. We just do it on the desktop.
All right, so you're doing that. So my name's Andrew Grote. I am a programmer by trade. For the last couple of years, I've been working on a game called The Boundary Condition, which is a puzzle platformer. And just generally, like, that started out as I want to learn game development, and also music and modeling and, just trying to figure it all out. And so that's kind of a long-term project that I'm working on. And in the meantime, I've kind of done these periodic side quests of a couple of game jams that I've done. I'm making my game in Godot, the game engine, and the game jams I've taken part of are the Godot Wild Jam. So everybody that submits it, it's I think 9 days, and there's a theme, and you make a game over that course of time, and so the game I made this time, the theme was Moon. And I recently played Steven Sausage Roll, if anyone's familiar with that, which is a sort of really, I don't know, interesting puzzle game where the kind of main mechanic is sort of awkward movement where you're a character with a pitchfork kind of thing, and you can move forward and backward or rotate left or right. And as I was kind of thinking about what to do for this game jam, I had thought of like an excavator on the moon, and that the movement of an excavator could work sort of like in Steven Sausage Roll. So I made this puzzle game that kind of co-ops that movement mechanic. Nope. Is it? Ah, gotcha. I think it should be good. It's mostly the keyboard. So I guess I'll just show off a few levels of this. Yes. So the movement, as I said, is kind of you move forward, backward, and then rotate right and left. And so the main idea is just kind of level the ground out the way that's supposed to. And so I guess just to highlight what's going on here, all of the tiles below you are scoopable, and as well as the ones in front of you. And so then you kind of just rotate around, drop things. So it's kind of just using that to, maneuver yourself through a level, using the ground to, work your way through. This was an interesting game for me because I had not really done anything that was this discrete before. And so kind of doing the 3D, like, I want you to move one square forward, but I also want things to drop. So there's some physics, but working that kind of stuff out was interesting. Another aspect, I guess, of the sort of game design here is I wanted to kind of stay in line with what I loved about Steven Sausage Roll, which is that this kind of simple mistake, I guess, of the movement results in loads of interesting levels that Steven Sausage Roll in particular is fairly difficult. But it ultimately all comes down to just, can you maneuver around using this movement, and what sort of interesting consequences are there of the fact that you move in this way? And so like in this case, right, like I have to back into this wall in order to then drop this, bit of dirt that I picked up. Moon was the theme. So the main thing here is these lifts. What I loved about them when I came up with the idea is that they let you go up and down a level, which is obviously useful. But as I was messing around with the scooping, I wanted that to interact with whatever other mechanic I would add. So in this level, you don't need you don't need to do that necessarily. But here, you cannot. Strictly speaking, this level could be designed a little better. But regardless, the idea here is that you can no longer do the trick that you just did in that last level to work your way across. And the trick ultimately, I'll just give it away since this is a simple-ish game, I guess, is that you need to get yourself up so that you can drop that other thing down, and you can actually pick up the lift at the scoop, and then move that to wherever you want to move it. But there's a hole here that lets it be the level below you, so that then you can, work your way up and then drop that in place. Yes, and actually one of the things I wish I would have noticed sooner, I didn't realize until my wife played it after had already submitted it, but is that when you need to move something up on the level that you're on, you can actually sort of dig your way through to it. I should have swapped the locations of those, but regardless, figuring out game design. But easy enough fix, and it would basically be something where you couldn't solve the level without hopefully figuring that out eventually. Yep. And actually, this level is actually exactly meant to highlight that. Two things, I suppose. One is that in order to get this block, getting down requires that you move off and back on. But then here, getting up there to put that block into place, again, the height problem is still there, but my intended solution, I suppose, is that you can't actually get on the lift. It's on the same level as you. So what you need to do is dig a hole, fill that in with the lift, and then, sort of work your way up. Anyway, so I don't want to like go through the whole thing, but I really enjoyed toying around with these mechanics and just generally trying to do something a little more spatial and kind of fun that way. There's a few more levels, so anyone that wants to go and try it out, my account is the Square Groot. It's the Square and then Groot, like the Guardians of the Galaxy character, which is my last name. .io. Yeah, so that's what I got. Maybe. Sure. Why not, I guess. Yeah. It's yeah, I there's loads of things I would love to do more with it. I don't know if I'll actually get around to doing it, but yeah, so. Yeah, I had the thought while I was here. I was like, I should have shared this on Discord. I don't know why I did. Yeah. So yeah. Any questions? I guess. Any thoughts? Yeah. So the question is, how long was the jam? It was 9 days. I just kind of did it in my free time. I have, 2 kids and my wife and working and all that, right? So it was just like late nights trying to get in as much as I could. But yeah. So it's 9 days in total. It's the Godot Wild Jam. So all the submissions are made in Godot. Beyond that, it's 2D, 3, anything, any loose interpretation of the theme kind of works. So yeah. 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 Thanks. Yep. So the question is, am I planning to continue the game? The other game I've been working on is my priority for the time being. This was kind of just like timing worked out well enough for me to have the time to do it. Wanted a little bit of a break. So I did really like how this turned out. So there is a possibility I'll come back to in the future, but it's going to depend on how life goes, I guess. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Probably just a bunch of lifts going up and down. But yeah. So cool. Any other questions or thoughts or feedback? This is so there's the one I've been working on, which is where I kind of learned my skills. I did one Godot Wild Jam before this, which is a simple 2D like game where you're a flower. But yeah, so technically this is my third, I guess, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, so I have used Unity in the past. I work for a local company called Software Verde, and we do custom software of all kinds, everything from like websites to integrations with other platforms and mobile apps and everything. And we actually in the last couple of years have done a lot of game adjacent things. So for example, we did a project with the University of Mississippi to make a like interaction experience for kids with autism. And so like it's in VR and they can sort of talk to, someone with a kind of semi-scripted conversation and see if they can pick up on emotions, try to help them, identify differences, things like that. That was in Unity. I've done a couple of other things in Unity. But yeah, those are kind of the main two. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, kind of on that note, like as I was kind of trying to get together levels, I kept having, ideas relating to the lifts and things like that. But like, kind of felt like the main thing I was like, I wish I had done that more because it was my original plan, is just more levels that kind of play with that Steven Sausage Roll movement mechanic a bit more and kind of require you to really, mess with it. That said, I also didn't want it to be too annoying, so it's a trade-off. But yeah. Cool. Thanks. Interesting. So yeah, there's definitely, like I said, there's loads of things, and I definitely do want to try to mess with that at some point, but I don't want to end up working on 2 projects at once. That just sounds awful. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Thank you. All right. Thanks. Girl. Cool.
Okay. Any other games or topics or things, music, whatever? Yes. So, or does anybody have any announcements they want to talk about? There was some things that came up in my mind I wanted to chat, but cool. All right. And if you do have games you're working on or releasing, definitely let us know. We're here to help promote. Our goal really is just to kind of help funnel opportunities, right? So if you have anything we can help just to kind of showcase, or if you have questions, we're here to help. So we're gonna wrap up today. So there's a couple things that came to my mind new that's coming up with COG. I've reached out to a couple of you interested in doing teaching sessions here at the Idea Foundry. So as you know, we're meeting back in person, which also means they're also doing classes here. I have a fairly decent group of you interested in teaching. I promise you, I will connect you with Alex from the Idea Foundry, and he'll give you more information on what that entails. I'll also attach some information he's replied to me about, some of the questions that you all may have had. But it's a great way to kind of like, do some kind of fun stuff. It's kind of like a 50-50 split. So if you decide you want to do it like once a week, or 5 times a week, whatever, they'll promote it. You create like a syllabus and a structure for however long you want the class to be. And it'll kind of probably be in like a room like this, or whatever room they, need to use. And it's pretty simple. I used to do it back in the day with after school program. We used to teach kids how to make games with GameU, so it was fun. But yeah, so if you're interested, let me know. I'm happy to talk more about it here, or you can talk in Discord. We're getting those kind of lined up. And we're also trying to do a couple of new things. If you've been part of our group, there's things we've done in the past that are called like the COG field trips, which is kind of sometimes we go to like a bar arcade or something like that. But we're also trying to do bigger events. As our group grows, we're trying to do some cool stuff. So we've been like talking to Game Arena, or I've been like floating some ideas with these guys about like doing like if you guys want to do like a workshop that we plan with Idea Foundry, like making like a small arcade cabinet machine or something like that. These are just some things we're floating around, but if you have any ideas of things that you want to do, whether it's like tabletop game event or something like that, obviously we would love to have support if you want to do a new event, but we're happy to help to kind of coordinate things. I know we had Steve do the Puzzle Gamer Pints event, which was just kind of like, hey, there's a cool like mystery puzzle game that we do at this bar over here. We just promoted it on our meetup site. So if you're doing something like that, we'd be happy to kind of help you cross promote. If it's game related, we're pretty much almost 100% always like, yes, let's do it. And if you want to do a workshop or something else like that, if you want to go to a bar arcade, or if you have other ideas, let us know. We're going to work to get you a survey, just kind of like asking people like how they're, interested in the things that we have going on, what are the new things we want to do. So keep on the lookout for that. But yeah, if you have any ideas, that's what we're here for. So if you have things that you want us to try out or do, we can talk about them. Obviously, some of these things take more time than others, so they may require us to kind of set up some things. Some things like a quick event we can just post up online. So just let us know. We're here to help you because we are a group that's public for the group, run by the group for you guys. So anything that you want us to try out, just ask us, and we'll talk more about it. So, but yeah. So I'll leave that to there and kind of go back to our final question of. You know, what is your first game you played? And also, as Liam said, like, what was the game that you really wanted to pick out as a kid that you got to pick out as a good icebreaker? But you can talk about anything. So we'll leave up this time. If you're on our YouTube channel, you can kind of chat in our Discord. It's a great place to go. There's a general channel you can chat into. And then if you're here, we're here till 4. We got snacks on the side with some drinks. Ice provided by the lovely Tom Allenbaugh, who was able to break up the ice and actually get us some stuff because it was one piece. Yeah, he literally broke the ice. So, so we have some there. But yeah, just chill out for a bit. You guys can come and leave when you want to. And then obviously we're going to be here if you have any questions and if you want to network. So thanks for coming out, everybody. We'll get you guys. The next event is the Prototype and Play next second Friday of the month. But otherwise, we'll catch you guys online. And thanks for coming out. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you later. Appreciate it. Yay.